I'm JJ Destin, and I made and approved this message. My name is JJ Destin. In November 2022, I will be running for the upper house of Congress, the U.S. Senate for the state of Nevada and all states, so we the people can outvote and control the government. And something you need to know up front is I absolutely will not ever sell out of my country, not to any special interest, corporation, or other country. In this short video, I'm going to explain a plan that will not only work to fix the federal government, but city and state level governments too, so all of them are controlled by their citizens instead of whoever pays off the politicians for their votes. I'm asking Nevada to step up to the plate to be the first state to get this plan rolling, and then I'm asking citizens around the country to run for Congress on this movement and their states to vote for them to say enough is enough. I am the only candidate or politician anywhere offering this plan to the citizens, a plan for the citizens to legally control the government the way it was originally intended to be. Why run for office now? Because it's time for drastic changes that honestly should have been done decades to a century ago. We can't keep waiting forever for Congress to enact term limits because they won't, for Congress to stop being corrupt because they won't. We have to make it happen, and this is the plan to do it. With this plan, we can fix the government for everybody, not just one half of the country or the other, which is why I'm running independently. Politicians should be neutral instead of biased to get more done for the people, and because my plan eliminates the corruption from all parties and makes it so the citizens control the government. We can stop all of the left versus right, right versus left stupidity in Congress that only slows progress and causes division. Parties have gotten very good at dividing people using race or money or whatever they can if they think it'll help their votes. And I am absolutely tired of them wasting trillions and trillions of dollars out of our paychecks and then raising our taxes to cover it. I know it'll take a lot of work to fix Congress, but it can be done. I need your help to do it. Elect candidates around the country that run on this movement to replace the crooked career politicians, and it will be done. My role in Congress will be a little different than the normal congressperson. I'll do the normal duties required, but my focus will be that every second outside of that, every time I'm in front of a camera or microphone, I'll be getting the word out to recruit people to run for Congress on this movement, this platform, to build up the majority vote, to pass the reforms that will fix Congress and hand the government to the people. Because the current Congress doesn't care what 330 million people want, they care more about their bank accounts and doing whatever they have to do to get or keep their party in control. And any politician or news network or news reporter that says just let the crooked career politicians handle it instead of the citizens controlling the government, run away from them as fast as you can. This is the plan to fix the government. USGARM, United States Government Agencies Reform Movement. It's for the people and not for crooked career politicians. This is what puts the power into the people's hands and takes it away from Congress, stripping them of their ability to take bribes from special interests and corporations and then inserting those into things being voted on where they have no business being. Like recently with the coronavirus stimulus packages, they are selling out on us for their own wallets and then bickering back and forth left versus right, right versus left like always, instead of just doing what's right for our country. If citizens could have voted on the last stimulus package, they would not have voted to only give America $700 billion, yet give Congress's special interests, including other countries, $1.2 trillion out of our paychecks, and the same thing has happened for each stimulus package. Here's the first and biggest reform, the voting reform. With this voting reform, Congress's job would actually change. Instead of them voting on everything that goes through Congress, like bills, laws, acts, and resolutions, they would put them out there for citizens to vote on. That's right, politicians' jobs should just be to put out ideas and then citizens decide what they want. So the way it would work is this: American citizens voting on everything that goes through Congress at year-round voting centers, with Congress, governors, and mayors keeping the public informed of what items need to be voted on, where to find the exact information on the items, and explaining each item on their own video channels so the public is knowledgeable of what they're voting on. With citizens voting on everything, it will actually make parties irrelevant, and then we can just be Americans the way George Washington intended it to be, until Jefferson and Adams started the two parties and have been causing more and more division ever since. It is time to show the parties that we are tired of their wasteful spending and their division. It is time to register as NP for nonpartisan, or as I call it, no party. As I said before, this strips power from Congress and gives it to the people, and it educates the public on what's going on in our country's government and what we're doing with other countries. We can actually make America a politically knowledgeable country. One-page items to vote on, not hundreds or thousands of pages where the corruption can be hidden. If politicians want to give money out of our paychecks to their special interests like art centers or other countries that funnel money back to them, they'll have to put it on a single page where Americans can see it and vote on it. Voter IDs. If we're going to have year-round public voting for the entire country to vote on what goes through Congress, then we need voter IDs. People that say people can't get IDs because they don't know how to use the internet or they can't get to the DMV is ridiculous and actually offensive to people. Look it up. And what other country would let you vote on their laws and vote for their politicians without being a citizen or having a valid ID to prove who you are? None, because that would be the wrong way to do it. It destroys the integrity of the election. And there have been far too many cases of people showing up to vote and being told they've already voted when they haven't. Once our government is controlled by our citizens, they would not vote to go to war. My long-term vision for this is that other countries will see what we're doing, they'll do it, and they won't vote to go to war, and then we'll have world peace. Congressional reform. Did you know it takes a constitutional amendment to enact term limits? Do you realize the current Congress will never enact term limits because they're sitting there getting rich off of bribes and inside trader information from their special interests, and they will continue to do so if we keep re-electing them and continuing this cycle over and over again. We must vote in a wave of new people that will vote for it, such as people running under this USGARM movement. A convention of the states will take 50 campaigns to get 34 states. This is the best way to do it. One campaign that everybody can see and join in and share to get it done. By the way, have you noticed they keep voting themselves huge raises? Shouldn't that be up to us? Audit members of Congress at the beginning and end of each term to see if there was corruption and charge them if there was. Adjust overpay and overbenefits after terms. If you look up congressional pension or congressional retirement, it might be confusing, but basically they get a bigger pension the longer they're in, up to 80% of their about $200,000 a year salary, and they can qualify for lifetime health care. They should be on the same Social Security plan as the rest of us based on how much they've paid into it in their entire working life, and we should make it so they get a severance package of $50,000 for a first term served and $100,000 for a second term served. And then they should have to get their health care the same way the rest of us do. Thank you for your service. Go back to regular life. Congressional election reform. Simplify congressional elections for voters. Instead of 2 years for the House of Representatives and 6 years for the U.S. Senate with different, quote, classes for elections, make the terms for both houses 4 years, just like the president. On the year of the presidential election, each state would have one senator and half of their representatives up for election, and 2 years later, midterm of the president, have the other senator and the other half of their representatives up for election. And again, all with a 2-term limit, just like the president. Now it's time to viral JJ.DestinFixesCongress.com, and if you really want to help the country, run for either house of Congress on this platform so we can build the majority vote and take the power away from Congress and give it to the people.